Hey Jason, love your videos and I wish I saw them prior to getting my dog. I have a 1.5-year-old male Corso bear, I'm guessing bear is the dog's name, who I'm beginning to hate. I don't want to sound like a bad dog owner at all. I have loved dogs all my life and grew up with a dog in the house. This is my first dog of my own. As a puppy, I brought him out with me all the time. As he got older, I stopped because he was always pulling on his leash, acting crazy if he saw another dog, was having a hard time controlling him. Over time, he went from a happy, friendly puppy to now aggressive with other dogs and even aggressive with me. He snaps at me if I try to pick up his food, and he's been destroying things in my apartment when I go out. I almost hate myself for hating my dog. I know I've not done things good with him and messed up his training. I just don't know what to do. I'm torn as I feel I need to give him away, but I feel guilty doing so, but he's destroying my life and I'm always stressed. I would love to have the kind of relationship you have with Bruce. Is he too far gone for me to get him like Bruce? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, and I'm not gonna say the person's name. Bruce Wayne, there's a lot to unpack with this little message we got on the IG, Jason Corey 411. Most of you guys watching this know my stance on the breed, so I'm not gonna rehash everything that this individual did wrong. They just want to have a strong bond and a good relationship with their dog so they can be happy, their dog can be happy. That's all we want as dog owners. We don't get dogs to stress ourselves out. We get dogs to enhance our lives. And Bruce Wayne, you, my friend, have greatly enhanced my life and hopefully a few of these guys watching because you're so majestic and sweet. But what we can do is learn from each other's mistakes. I know this is just a DM on Instagram, but being honest with yourself and with the mistakes you've made leads me to believe that you truly want this relationship and you actually want to put in the work and turn things around. So what's my advice to you in this situation? Obviously, Bruce Wayne knows one of the biggest, most important things for advice I can give you, and that's subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, ring my ding-a-ling so you miss any of the newest videos on Corsos or Bruce Wayne. Why are you so stoic, bro? Before I give my recommendations, why don't you guys comment down below and give your recommendations as a community to this individual to help them out. No hate and no disrespect whatsoever to this individual. They're reaching to us for help. Any disrespect, any hate towards this person, you will get instantly blocked. We're all family here and we're here to help each other out. So comment down below your one biggest piece of advice for this individual. Disclaimer, I'm not a dog trainer. I've just been a dog owner for literally my entire life. I had a dog since the moment I was born. I'm just trying to bring awareness to other dog owners to bring their leadership ability to the next level, because that is going to make a happy dog. It's going to make a happy dog owner. And there's a word in there that's the key to this individual's success, and it's leadership. Now, please be mindful with my advice, guys. I only have a very limited amount of knowledge with this person's situation. I did not communicate back with them. I read this message this morning and I decided to maybe start a new series where I'm answering your questions via video, because a lot of the questions I get are very repetitive. So it'd be much easier for me to just reference a video. To answer your question, can you turn this situation around? Absolutely. It requires a lot of patience, discipline, dedication, understanding your dog, patience, and probably a little bit of patience. Every dog is different, so you can't put a time frame on your training. Building a relationship like I have with Bruce Wayne takes months and months and even years. The main thing I see with this message is your dog has no leader in their life. If a dog doesn't have a leader, they will quickly establish themselves as a leader, even if they don't want to, meaning the dog is going to be stressed out because they ultimately don't want to be the leader. They're going to start making decisions on their own. They may or may not become destructive, which you've witnessed, which may be from a lack of leadership, or it may be coming from something else in their life, like lack of exercise, lack of work, just plain boredom. It's really hard to say with the little bit of information I have, but leadership is key. If you have a pyramid, the foundation of that pyramid is leadership. So step one, work on being a leader to your dog. Establish that role. What does a leader do? A leader leads and its followers follow. The leader sets the rules, the leader sets the boundaries, the leader literally sets the framework for their followers to follow. Dogs don't live in a gray area. They see things as black or white. So when you set boundaries, such as your dog's allowed on the couch, they're either allowed on the couch or they're not allowed on the couch. There's no gray area where sometimes they're allowed on the couch. Bruce Wayne's always allowed on the couch. Bruce Wayne's always allowed on this side of the couch. Bruce Wayne is never allowed back on that side of the couch. He clearly knows he can go on the couch in a certain spot. We established that rule. We established that boundary and framework. The next thing you need to do is obedience work. I have no clue the level of general obedience your dog has, nor do I have any idea of your training ability with obedience, but you need to start putting some sort of obedience training regime into their daily routine. But mix it up, meaning if you're working on stay with your dog and you're working on them with stay in the backyard, for example, and they got it down, every single day, don't repeat the same exact thing. Move them to the driveway and stay. Move them to the front yard and have them stay. Move them into the house and make them stay. Move them into the kitchen and make them stay. Keep switching it up. That way, they're understanding the commands in certain different situations, in certain different scenarios. And eventually you're going to want to start working with your dog on their obedience in public areas to get them used to distractions. The next thing is your dog needs a job to do. All dogs need a job to do, be it a Cane Corso, a Golden Retriever, a Black Lab. A job is what they ultimately need. Bruce Wayne, why are you looking down all the time? So tired. Now, Cane Corsos are guardian breeds, but it doesn't mean that you have to do protection work to give them a job. There are literally dozens and dozens of things you can do with your dog to give them a job to do. So, for example, one thing you can do with your dog, are you just looking at your t-shirt? That's what you're doing. You're just looking at this sexy t-shirt. You can get yourself one of these Bruce Wayne amazing t-shirts down the merch box below. So let me give you an example for a job I like to give Bruce Wayne. I will put a weight vest on Bruce Wayne and I will take him on a very fast, focused walk. What do I mean by focused? I'm not letting him smell everything. I'm not letting him stopping to pee and everything. It's a heel and it's a focused heel and he's keeping up with me. Putting a weight vest on him makes him feel like he's got a job to do. He's carrying something for me. Yes, it's going to add to the physical exercise to it, but let's be real. It's really not, what do you need, bro? You just want me to hold your paw? It's not that much more physically hard on Bruce Wayne to carry 7 to 10 pounds on his back, but it's very mentally satisfying to him. So giving them a job may even curb the destructive nature when they're in your apartment alone. Is your dog crate trained? If not, they truly need to be crate trained. They're not ready to be left alone. Lack of leadership, possibly lack of having a job, possible lack of obedience. Again, I'm not sure about all these things. You can't have your dog roaming around the house when you're gone. Bruce Wayne wasn't even allowed to roam the house until about 1.5 years old. He took longer to mentally mature than my previous dogs. These dogs usually don't fully mentally mature until they're around 3-ish, which funny enough is when our relationship even got closer. So if your dog is not crate trained, you need to start working on that immediately. You can't just have them roaming around because A, they're destroying your property, making your life miserable. Even more important, you can kill your own dog. And as a dog owner, if your dog ingests something when you're away, it's not the dog's fault. It's your fault because they're not crated and they're not in a safe environment. And yes, you may think your apartment's safe, but there are hundreds of things they can get into which could possibly kill them. Remember, it's your job as a dog's leader to assure they're safe 100% of the time. Lots of people get a guard dog to protect them, but actually as the leader, you're the one that needs to be protecting your dog. Not only protecting their physicalness and their health, but protecting their mental health as well. And that's one thing I never hear people talk about is your dog's mental health. My dog's mental health is one of the reasons I will never, ever, ever let somebody handle my dog other than myself, my wife, or my parents, because they're the only ones I trust with him. I won't even let the vet take my dog without me, because I don't want them to do something either on purpose or by accident that is going to cause some massive stress and trigger him where now he gets scared every time he goes to the vet, or he has some response, fight or flight response, where he's going to either want to run or attack someone every time he goes to the vet. I'm so protective of Bruce Wayne. His mentals, his physicals, his overall well-being. I just want the best for him. And I think we've given you a pretty good life so far, bro. And vice versa. You have given us an amazing life. And it sounds like socialization essentially needs to start over. But you must do it in a very delicate manner. Your Cane Corso seems very reactive. I don't know if it's just leash reactive or just reactive in general, but it sounds like if you put them in the middle of some situation or some crowd, they are going to react most likely in a very negative, harsh manner. So start bringing your dog on outings. So let's use the beach, for example. Let's say you want to socialize your dog at the beach. Bring them to the beach, but keep them very far away from everyone, people, animals, even the beach itself. Stand across the street and let them just observe what's happening. See how they react. See if they're calm like this. If they're reacting, then back off even more. If they're still reacting, then go home and try again a different day. As time goes on, as you notice your dog's sleepy, bro, you're boring the crap out of these people. And non-reactive, move a little bit closer. You're going to have to take very small baby steps in this situation. Again, no need to rush. There's no time frame on this. You're trying to create a bond, and you can't rush a relationship. It just doesn't work like that. So over time, as your leadership gets stronger, as your obedience with your dog gets stronger, as the trust with your dog and you becomes stronger, start slowly moving closer and closer and closer. So you may be like, Jason, this is great advice, but I have no clue how to train my dog. I have no clue how to do obedience. I don't even understand how to be a leader to my dog. So what do I do in this situation? All of this may seem very overwhelming to you, but don't let it overwhelm you. Take it a day at a time. So my first piece of advice to you, find yourself a dog trainer who specializes in behavior modification. Your dog already has a set behavior established, unfortunately, by the way the dog was handled. So that's instilled in their mind. They think they're the leader. They think they can do whatever they want, and that behavior needs to be changed. It's harder to change a behavior than it is to avoid a certain behavior in a dog. So behavior modification trainer, find one preferably that understands the Cane Corso breed or guard dogs in general, and work with them diligently. Don't rush out and get the first trainer you find on Google. Call the trainers, talk to them, understand their philosophies, how they train the dogs, what you're going to get with them, what they're going to provide for you. Now, if you don't want to go that route, my second option would be to get one of the training courses I'm always talking about, linked down in the description below. There's a puppy training course, a canine boot camp, and the canine boot camp is what I suggest for you. It essentially uses the same philosophies and techniques of how I trained Bruce Wayne. Or even better yet, get the Ultimate Breed Cane Corso bundle, because there's a course specifically on the breed Cane Corsos, because they aren't your typical dog. They're not a golden retriever. They don't respond like a lab. They're by far the most different breed I've ever encountered ever. And these courses are going to empower you with the knowledge of how to be a leader to your dog, things to do to establish your leadership with your dog, how to train your dog, like how to get your dog to sit, stay, and uses all the same principles and philosophies of how I trained Bruce Wayne. So if you want yourself a Bruce Wayne, like you said, that's a good place to go to as well. Oh, and you get 10% off if you use code Jason. Bruce Wayne, they get 10% off if they use code Jason at checkout. Can you believe that? And lastly, you can snatch up my ebook. There's no how to get your dog to sit, how to get your dog to lay down. It's all my philosophies of understanding dogs, how I trained Bruce Wayne, things I did with Bruce Wayne to get him to act like this, to get this bond that I have with Bruce Wayne. Ultimately, I don't care how my dog can do circus tricks. That's not what I'm looking for in a dog. I'm looking for a best friend who will listen to me and respect my boundaries if I respect their boundaries and listen to what they're telling me as well. Part of dog leadership and bringing your leadership to the next level is understanding your dog's needs, understanding what they're asking of you. Right now, Bruce Wayne is asking me, can we please get off camera so I can go take a nap? Almost done, bro, almost done. Patience is key. Everything can be going great, and I promise you, you're gonna have setbacks in your training. Things are never 100% good and correct. Things happen. Don't let those setbacks set you back. Use those setbacks as a learning tool to move forward. I hope this little piece of advice gives you the confidence you need to start your new life with your Cane Corso to get this relationship that I have with Bruce. I absolutely hate to see dogs giving up, and it truly breaks my heart, but I also hate to see a dog live their life in misery. The dog's a 1.5 years old. It has tons of life left in them. If you can't put the time and effort and discipline in needed to train your dog to get that relationship you want, to create that leadership so your dog isn't stressed and your dog is happy, then yes, I would have to unfortunately say maybe it's time to rehome the dog. And I don't mean just give it up to the pound where they're gonna put the dog down. At least, bare minimum, find a very loving person who understands Cane Corsos, who understands dog behaviorism, and is willing to take this dog under their wing as their own and give them the best life possible. Let me know down below if you guys like this style of video. Thank you to everyone who's commented down below, helping this individual out with your advice. Until next time, Bruce Wayne and myself will see you later. Peace.
No, I hate to wake you up, but we really have to go shoot a video. People need some advice. Hanson, do you mind? Do you mind? Can I see your paw? Can I see your paw? Massage your paw. Okay. Thank you. This is the one you got massaged.